Okay, welcome everyone to this edition of Farmer Office Hours. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Whether you're a long-time autonomous farmer or just getting started, we appreciate your commitment to our network. These calls are all about keeping you informed, engaged and equipped with the latest updates from the Autonomous Network. I'm Jim, the head of community at Autonomous, and I'll be hosting today's call alongside a lineup of community team speakers. We are one light at the moment. On stage with me today, we have Randy, our technical community manager, who will be talking us through the latest on the network's performance and farmer-focused hot topics. And right on cue, hey, Pradeek, our Ambassador Community Manager, with news from the Ambassador Program. Before we jump in, a quick reminder to follow us on our socials if you haven't already. On X, we are Autonomous Net. There you can get the most updates on our progress. That's where we post absolutely everything. So if you want the full fire hose of information, following Autonomous Net on X is the place to go. And my slides are updated this week, as you can see, because I've included the Autonomous Labs account. That particular one is also on X, of course, but that is where we post the more technical content that developers and engineers are likely to find interesting. You can also find our links there for Discord, Telegram, and our forum. They're all on our website, autonomous.xyz. You can find them in the footer down there. And these together make up the best places to stay up to date as we progress towards mainnet phase 2. As usual, we have a packed session today. So here's what we'll be covering. So first of all, we're going to kick off with State of the Network with Randy, which will be a summary of the latest performance stats and infrastructure improvements. Then I'm going to be delivering a roadmap update. I know that we have a number of community members keen to hear about this. Latest on our progress towards mainnet phase 2, staking and new ecosystem developments. Then we've got the Game of Domains launch, which is a major milestone in our staking initiatives. Everything you need to know to get involved is going to be communicated. And then finally, I bring Pradeek back. Hey, Pradeek, do you want to do a quick mic check?
Yeah, can you all hear me?
We can hear you fine. Yes, okay. So then we have Pradeek is going to be sharing updates on from the Ambassador Program. And finally, we will be segueing into our regular Q&A, where we have an open forum for your questions. And on that note, of course, we do love questions on Farmer Office Hours, and we encourage you to share them during the call. Please remember to keep them in English so we can address them effectively. Thanks very much. And with that, let's get started. So, Randy, over to you for the network update.
Thank you, Jim. Let's go to the next slide here. Okay, so normally we've been tracking the stats on node count and space pledged. Just wanted to make a little note about this. On the space pledge for mainnet, we've been noticing quite a bit of variations. Like one day you'll see 585, and then later that day you might see 614. So if you see it drop down like that, don't be concerned. It will come back up. Nobody has left the network in mass. As far as the numbers, our node count on mainnet dropped a little from last time. We're at 1681. And we have, like I said, 614 petabytes. And the latest version is still January 14th from before. The Taurus network, we've seen quite a bit of extra nodes and space pledged here. So we're up to 165 on the count and space pledged at 2.46 petabytes. And we do have a Taurus latest version of January 28th. And we'll go over next slide, Jim. These are just some of the new versions here. We didn't have a new mainnet version for the CLI, but we did have one for Space Acres. And wasn't a huge amount of things here, but every update's important. We have some ARC64 Linux builds are now available. Turkish language has been added. There was a reward calculation, ETA calculation that was wrong by quite a bit. That's been fixed. And then some improvement to the network color indicator. For the Taurus network, we did have a new CLI release, and it gets a little bit hard to read on the bottom of my slide here, but moved capturing the domain trace routes from runtime to client. Honestly, I don't know what that means. We optimized the block finalization and fixed the cluster piece getter. So we encourage everyone to stay updated with the latest versions. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, Jim. So hot topics. The big one right now is setting up an operator, since Game of Domains is starting really quick. Jim's going to go over that later, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew in broad strokes what is involved here. So let's go next slide. So just wanted to make note that we have been updating the documentation. There's been quite a few improvements to the Astral staking interface, including new color schemes, which means I had to take new screenshots of everything. Let's just go over these broad steps. First, you want to download the latest Taurus CLI client, and that's from January 28th. You can't use your existing Taurus node that you're using for farming. However, you can use the new node for both. The next step would be to use that CLI node to create an operator key. And when you do that, you take note of your public key. And once you have that, you launch that node as an operator, which means there's a new section in the startup parameters for setting domain settings. And then you just kind of let that run and let that sync. That'll take a while, maybe a day or so. And then you want to register your operator, and that's done through the Astral stacking interface. And didn't get my last update there, which you relaunch the node with your operator ID. At that point, you should be set up and good to go. How much you stake as an operator will determine how often you make bundles. Again, we have all this in the documentation with all the details, but I just wanted to make sure that we all understand what's involved there. If you have any questions at all, we have Discord, forum, Telegram. We'd be more than happy to help out with that. That is it for me, Jim.
Thanks, Randy. And I did see that you've put an update into the documentation site today. Is that right? Are we?
Yes. I mentioned we've been updating them quite a bit, but there was one today, and that included some clarifications as well as some new screenshots since the color schemes were all updated. There's also quite a bit more information on that page that's kind of useful. So take a look.
Absolutely. Thanks, Randy. Yeah, so Astral has been beefed up quite substantially, hasn't it? So yeah, refreshed screenshots, all new styling, and yeah, you see all the ways to register and administer your operator. Okay, thanks, Randy. I will let you go because it's time for me to talk on the mainnet phase 2 roadmap. So as we progress towards mainnet phase 2, we're excited to share the latest developments and milestones achieved since the last roadmap update. Our teams have been diligently working across various tracks to ensure a robust and seamless launch. Sure, that's what everyone wants. In today's update, I'll walk you through the latest developments from across the organization so you get a full picture of where we are today and what's coming next. So let's start with the foundation track. As you can see, actually, in the overview here, you can see that there are a number of grey boxes. They're the items that we have completed as we home in on mainnet phase 2. So first up, grey box, autonomous improvement proposals. AIPs are now live. AIPs function similarly to Ethereum's EIPs, providing a structured way to propose and implement network upgrades. We finalized the documentation and process, which is now available on the Subspace Foundation website for anyone who wants to contribute. So if you go to subspace.foundation, you'll be able to find the AIP process there. Next, our ecosystem grants program is progressing well. The legal requirements have been reviewed and are now going through the final ratification process. We're also working on supporting policies to make the program as transparent and efficient as possible. On the ambassador agreements, we've now finalised them, and they define ambassador roles, responsibilities, and rewards. These are soon going to be integrated into the stakeholder claim site, ensuring ambassadors have a clear path to engagement in the ecosystem. And speaking of the stakeholder claim site, TokenSoft have made major progress on the vesting structure and claims portal, and we expect to start testing a staging site very soon. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about the technical side of things on the engineering track. A lot of grey here, you can see. As in the previous update, our renamed Auto EVM is live on Taurus, enabling developers to deploy applications and contracts in preparation for mainnet phase 2. The agent framework is in release 0.2.2, and a number of improvements have landed. Highlights there include orchestration workflow, multi-agent support, tools to like tweets, follow users, and fetch the following timeline, agent self-scheduling and direction. There's a web search tool now integrated, and increased agent autonomy. The agent framework is being actively developed. It also forms a core pillar of our Aurora Buildathon developer outreach program. More on that later. The very latest commits to the repo have introduced CLI support with our first passer agent-driven task scheduling, simplified configuration, and more granular control over personality. Please reach out to the team if you would like to get started with the framework. Alternatively, you can check out the excellent Auto Agents workshop that Emil delivered yesterday. If you check out, if you click on the Autonomous network below this video and find the Aurora playlist, you'll find it in there. Also, it's in the social feeds channel on Discord, of course. You can also get involved in the conversation by following Argument on X. And after this call's finished, I'm going to put a bunch of links. So if you're catching up on this video, I'll put a link to Argument on Twitter directly in the video description. Okay, moving on. One of the most important developments is cross-domain messaging, or XDM. XDM is crucial for enabling token transfers and interoperability between domains and the consensus chain. It's now live on Taurus, and full documentation on how to use it via the Auto SDK is available on the Developer Hub. We also have an active community effort to bring XDM to Astral. So if you're looking for a way to contribute, that's a great place to start. When I wrote these notes, I wasn't aware that Mark has actually created a PR which has support for XDM in it. So yeah, watch this space. Exciting, a new thing to test out there. And then finally, that last box, because on XDM security, SR Labs has begun auditing the code, and we expect an initial report in days rather than weeks. And as soon as we receive any actionable recommendations from them, we'll be providing an update. And of course, you can follow along in the repositories and see exactly what's going on there. Lastly, just a quick note on this track. We've actually removed the Auto EVM deployments and domain explorers from the roadmap. And the reason is quite simple. These tasks only require basic infrastructure setup, which we've now tested. So we consider them trivial. So that's why this track looks slightly different. And of course, at the end on the main diagram, you'll see token transfers remain unchanged. The foundation will handle the activation at the right moment, which will be when the network is ready for it and not before. Now, let's shift gears and talk about what's happening on the community front. Auto Horizon submissions closed on the 31st of January. The amazing entries received have been judged, and winners were announced yesterday on that very same Aurora workshop call I mentioned earlier. We were absolutely blown away with the quality of the dApps our developers produced. Please do check them out on the forum and let us know which are your favorites. So if you find the Auto Horizon forum post, you'll see that there's been a follow-up post in there with a summary of all of the entries. Yeah, do check them out and find where you can play with them actually. So anyone who wants to execute transactions on the network for real, there's some apps there to use. Okay, moving on. Hacker Month 2 has been renamed to the Autonomous Aurora Buildathon and represents our biggest developer outreach program to date. This extended event will feature exciting initiatives like hackathons, workshops, and opportunities to win prizes for building AI 3.0 solutions. The Buildathon was announced on February the 6th, and the first big initiative, our hackathon in partnership with Secret Network, is well underway. It has a prize pool of 15,000 USD up for grabs. We are hoping to see some more amazing submissions. Remember that we will be holding a hacker house at East Denver if you'd like to connect there. Check out our Aurora playlist on YouTube to catch up on the workshop action so far. And then finally, on what related to the Buildathon, of course, we have finished and released the Developer Hub, which is a labour of love of Emil's, and yeah, it's a great resource. Encourage everyone to go and check that out. As you can see from the first red box there, actually, that yes, Stake Wars 2 has a new name and a new theme, indeed. Community anticipation for this initiative is off the charts. We have been waiting for readiness and initial testing of the staking workflows in Astral in preparation to launch the next installment of our incentivized staking contest. That time is now, and we will be launching stage 0 of Game of Domains immediately after this roadmap update. On the next box, core infrastructure deployments. Our environment recently became a little richer with the deployment of Safe on Taurus Auto EVM. This represents our first multi-sig implementation and opens the door to a whole ecosystem of account abstraction and other plugins. Thanks to everyone who has tested creation of a multi-sig account so far. We hope that you'll continue to do so, but more importantly, let us know which extensions you'd like to see made available next. Maybe you've seen another ecosystem use a Safe plugin to great effect. Tell us about it. We'd love to know, because we are looking for how we should extend our Safe deployment. We also have news coming on the same box there about infrastructure projects. We also have news coming regarding additional wallets that support consensus, and a very exciting partnership with support for an industry-leading indexing framework. More to hear from us here as we finalize details on a number of tools to enhance our offering. Finally, you will see that we have a shiny new name for Big Bang 2, the Dawn of Autonomy, which is our mainnet phase 2 launch campaign and be designed to build excitement and engagement. It's going to mirror the success of the mainnet phase 1 launch activities. So let us know which of the Big Bang initiatives you enjoyed the most and help us shape the fun. Stay tuned to our announcement channels for details. Moving on. So on the marketing side, we continue our expansion into APAC. I can see there's some comments in Chinese in the chat. Unfortunately, we can't respond to them because we don't have a translator hooked up. So do please try and keep the comments in English, and if you have a question, we'll get to it. So running through the boxes here, we have been actively evaluating candidates for the APAC lead role and remain committed to strengthening our presence in this important area. As we continue this process, our focus remains on expanding community engagement, developer activity, and strategic partnerships within the region. The APAC lead will play a key role in PR, media, and distribution, original content creation, events, and conferences. And of course, KOL and affiliate marketing, all that to ensure alignment with our global initiatives. We will share further updates once the position is finalized and look forward to accelerating our efforts in APAC in the coming months. Staying in that same first box there, our KOLs will be activated within the month of March as we head towards market and listing. We will start with the APAC strategy and expand from there. More on this to come. The Autonomous Network website continues to go through overhauls and UX improvements, including the introduction of product-focused specific pages, which are a work in progress and continue to have further refinement. Moving on to the middle box there, or the third box, I should say, events. So Autonomous Network is currently at Consensus Hong Kong. Peter's there at the moment. And I've had the opportunity to meet with our APAC support team, ecosystem partners and investors as we prepare to go to market. As we continue to build a strong presence in APAC, we want to ensure that Autonomous is well represented and supported within this region. Next week, we'll see a number of team attending ETH Denver, myself included, as well as delivering keynotes, speaking on panels and meeting up with partners new and old. We will be running an in-person portion of our hackathon and be present at a hacker house where we'd love you to pop in and say hello. So yeah, if you are going to be there and you would like to meet up with us at an event, please reach out to myself or anyone on the team and we'll get something penciled in. Finally, CEX and DEX listings are being actively worked on. We're in discussions with multiple exchanges and our operations team is moving quickly to expand AI3's market reach. We'll share updates on that as soon as we can. On the product side, we're working closely with Web3 AI companies on integrations and co-creation. Some projects are under NDA, but we'll announce details once agreements are finalized. We're also partnering with educational institutions and running developer outreach initiatives, including our role in the Midwest Blockathon with the Kansas Blockchain Institute. Very exciting. And another part of the Buildathon that we'll be talking on at length later on. Our product feedback loop is getting tighter and our developer outreach is already paying off with feedback from real users being acted on and steering the design of updates being made to the Auto SDK. And building on the success of Argument, a new agent with advanced interactive capabilities is planned, but this has been deprioritized and backlogged. It's not a firm requirement for mainnet phase 2 launch, and we want to make sure that we're focusing on everything that propels us towards that goal at the moment. Finally, we are still planning a no-code interface to democratize access to building autonomous agents. Early access will reward dedicated community members. Work here is either going through discovery or currently in development. I just spotted that this slide is actually out of date, and I will provide an updated one in a forum post that's going to go out. I have a suspicion. Oh no, this one did get updated. Okay, so moving on to partnerships. This track has had an overhaul, as you can see, as we refine our objectives. The individual goals are all ongoing activities rather than discrete workflows that we will have completed before mainnet phase 2. This is represented by the updated structure on the diagram. So we've gone from individual goals that we ultimately are going to be ongoing in the lead up to, through and after mainnet phase 2 to represent it with this ongoing task here. But this current phase focuses on integrating autonomous product stack with Web3 clients and partners to enhance usability, functionality, and adoption across decentralized ecosystems. Specifically, the goals are to improve Autonomous's storage and compute stack with key Web3 integrations, strengthen AI-driven automation and intelligence in decentralized ecosystems, and expand partner adoption across specific critical markets. And to do that, we are targeting some key partner segments. So specifically layer 2 solutions, data crowdsourcing platforms. We had a wonderful submission for Horizon regarding data labeling, and decentralized AI or DAI dApps. We're also targeting infrastructure partners, and then finally ecosystem and incubation partners. Progress has been made, and we are about to announce how several partners will be using the storage in our DSN to complement their own network offerings. In addition, 2 partners are integrating our SDK into their developer toolkits, so stay tuned for official announcements on these developments. Finally, work is also underway on proposals from other partners to design and execute more Buildathon events. We have quite a lot in the pipeline there. Okay, so I just want to give everyone a chance to take a look at the zoomed out view there. So as you can see, we have progress. Again, the grey boxes represent the tasks that we've managed to close off, but we still have a number of things that we need to do before we're ready for mainnet phase 2. To sum things up, we have had a month of significant progress and collaboration since the last roadmap update a month ago. And as we move closer to mainnet phase 2, our focus remains on delivering a secure, efficient, and innovative platform for our community. We encourage everyone to stay engaged, provide feedback, and participate in the exciting initiatives ahead. Speaking of which, game of domains. Okay, so usually we mix things up. I want to make sure that we take a moment just to acknowledge the gravitas of this next piece. Okay, so it's great to have you all here today as we launch something that we've been preparing for quite some time. Today, I am thrilled to introduce Game of Domains, the next chapter in our incentivized staking contests. We're going to break down the mechanics, the rewards, and everything you need to know to participate. But before we dive in, let's take a quick moment to refresh ourselves on how staking and domains actually work in the Autonomys ecosystem. So most of you are probably familiar with the role of farmers. They provide the core consensus layout for our network, and the more storage they pledge, the more secure our network becomes. But operators play a different role. They execute transactions on those domains, being our decoupled execution environments. You can think of domains as roll-ups that share the farmer-provided consensus. And internally, operators stake tokens to secure execution, and nominators delegate stake to those operators to help maintain economic security. And in return for doing that, they both earn transaction fees. What makes domains powerful is their flexibility. If you need a custom execution environment with its own token, you don't have to bootstrap an entire validator set. You can simply launch a domain instead. That's part of what makes this such a unique ecosystem. So with that in mind, let's talk about why we're running Game of Domains and what we're trying to achieve. So our high-level goals you can see there. First, we need to test staking design and workflows, not just at the protocol level, but also the user experience in Astral. Second, we're going to test our multi-domain infrastructure. This includes cross-domain messaging and the deployment of additional domains. Third, we want to drive transaction volume and builder engagement, especially with the Aurora Buildathon bringing new applications into the ecosystem. And finally, we're introducing specific challenges to push the limits of staking, nomination, and operator performance. So we have specific things that we want to test here. So how will it work? How do the mechanics break down? Game of Domains, it will run on Taurus, our incentivized testnet. We have no set end date. This isn't a one-off event. It will run until we've collected all the data we need to move forward. We're starting with a single domain, but over time, more domains will be introduced. That means operators will need to adapt. You will have to analyze activity and decide where you want to set up shop. You're going to need to follow the transaction volume. Now, let's walk through the different stages of the competition. First up, today, we are kicking off stage 0, which is winter is coming. You'll notice there's a theme here. Before the real action starts, operators will have time to sync their nodes and register. This is your preparation phase. It's a chance to get set up before the incentivized stages start. You will need 100 TAI3, that's Taurus AI3, to register as an operator, which you can farm on our testnet. If you are an experienced validator from another ecosystem, we'd love to have you. So you can apply for min stake assistance by filling out a form, which I am going to drop in the chat now. Ego P is giddy, excellent. Okay, just check that work. Yeah, okay. So yeah, if you run validators on other networks, running an operator is similar. It's kind of almost the same. So yeah, we'd love to have your experience on board, and of course there's incentives. We'll get to that in a minute. But if you're totally new to farming and you're worried that you're not going to be able to farm those 100 TAI3, do apply for stake via that form. Note that one of the changes introduced since the last stake wars is that storage fee funds have been integrated into the staking framework. This means that you'll see 20% of your stake reserved in the fund. So don't be alarmed when that happens. So just to unpack that a little bit, in the original stake wars, if you staked 100 TSSC, as it was then, into your operator, you'd see 100 on the dashboard. But because 20% gets reserved now, you'll actually see that represented differently because of the storage fee funds. There's an accompanying forum post that's going to go out with links for you to read more details about all that. But the important thing is, yeah, don't be alarmed when you see that taken. During stage 0, the team will be deploying the operator uptime monitoring framework and ensuring the Astral staking interface is running smoothly. Uptime monitoring is a new development, and we will provide detailed instructions on how to set your operator node up to ensure it is being counted and eligible for rewards. You feel free to set one up as you see fit at the moment. There will be a follow-up post explaining how you integrate that uptime monitoring, which will come when the network is ready and the real competition begins, which will be Stage 1, a storm of stakes. Again, the theme. Once uptime monitoring is confirmed working, we will transition to stage 1, a storm of stakes. This is where things get serious. Once we hit the start block, operators need to maintain uptime, follow best practices, and be ready for upgrades. For nominators, your job is to choose your operators wisely, support those who demonstrate stability, efficiency, and strong performance. One big change since stake wars, since the original stake wars, is nominator limits have been removed. We've resolved the previous restrictions on processing registrations, so now there's no cap on how many nominators can stake to a single operator. And as I mentioned earlier, further guidance on how to maximize efficiency and therefore rewards as an operator and nominator will be provided when we launch stage 1. Okay, and once we've achieved baseline stability in stage 1, we will be introducing targeted challenges. These are optional but highly rewarding for those who take part in the trials of innovation, as you can see they're called there. They will include specific tests, things like pushing the unlimited nominator count to its limits. As I mentioned, the restrictions removed, but we'd love to know if there's anything else that might prevent us having unlimited nominators. We will also want to be testing operator slashing mechanics and throughput. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge, that one. Validating domain storage fees and the staking UX. So yeah, feedback on Astral. Running cross-domain messaging or XDM experiments. And we will also be testing security in private EVM domains. This is something new. You may have seen the commits recently. But yeah, something that we will be putting the rules around as we launch the trials. And the trials are not predefined in full. We will be rolling them out dynamically based on what we need to validate. So you can expect updates along the way. Those who help us out here and provide feedback will not only earn additional rewards, but contribute to getting domains into the greatest shape they can possibly be in. Okay, once we're confident that domains are solid, performant, and battle tested, we'll announce the final block and wrap things up with the Feast of Execution, which is really, it's going to be a community event where we're going to celebrate the journey, pick out our highlights, and discuss any lessons learned. Okay, now let's talk about incentives. We're putting up 0.3% of total token supply as rewards for the Game of Domains, and that breaks down as follows. 500,000 AI3 for operators who maintain uptime and stay active. 500,000 AI3 for nominators who engage in staking and remain active throughout the event. There's 1 million AI3 for builders who deploy applications and drive transactions. There's also 1 million up for grabs for participants in the trials of innovation, helping us test the most important aspects of staking. Importantly, this is not a stake-weighted contest. So having more TAI3 doesn't automatically give you an advantage. We are rewarding participation and engagement, not just capital. Also, an important note there, it may be at the bottom, but it is very important. As we are post-Genesis, rewards will not be minted directly to wallets. Instead, there will be a claim process to receive rewards. And I am seeking clarity on how exactly that will look with the foundation. All right, so how can you get involved? So operators, you can sync your nodes, secure your min stake, and prepare for high uptime performance. Nominators, you can research and support operators wisely. Your engagement will directly impact your rewards. For builders, deploy dApps, generate on-chain activity, and push the limits of the network. And then adventurers, take on those trials of innovation as they become available and help us stress test key network features. We will be sharing more details on these aspects over the coming days, so be sure to follow the forum, join the Domain Hub channels on Discord, and watch for announcements regarding Stage 1. As I mentioned earlier, there will be an accompanying forum post going out shortly after the call. It's got a bit more detail on it, and I encourage everyone to read it. I will add a link, as I mentioned, to the video description on YouTube. So if you're watching this later on, check below and you'll find a link to that forum post. Finally, note that we have just streamlined some Discord channels. But if you want guidance or help participating, please check out what's now become the Domain Hub channels. It was the Stake Wars channel. And we have in there operator chat, which is for operator chat and support running an operator. And then we have staking chat. We streamlined it down to 2 channels where it's basically everything else about staking. So if you're a nominator or you want to go, talk about staking outside of being an operator, that's the place to go. This is your opportunity to prove your skills, make your mark, and contribute to shaping the future of Autonomous. We can't wait to see how this unfolds. Good luck, and let the game of domains begin. Okay. And now I'm going to bring Fredik up on stage. Hey, Fredik, how you doing?
Hey, Jim. Well, that was a lot of info, a lot of very exciting perspectives ahead. And I'm feeling great. I mean, this is every time I have the opportunity to hop on stage, it makes me feel closer to the community. It's pure energy. So please allow me my 5 minutes of fame here to shine a spotlight on our very first 3 apprentice ambassadors selected under the new on-demand model. As I've seen, one of them was here. Please join me in sending some love to John Roddle, Slow and Steady, and Georgie Abdallah. Georgie, I've seen you in the chat. I believe John is en route to ETH Denver. Incidentally, Jim, you might meet up him in there. Now, these 3 rock stars, they work side by side with their mentors to crush their 4-week educational plan, which includes at the end the presentation of the mini project. And really, I can't wait to see what they bring to the table. Now, speaking of new apprentices, we are still recruiting. If you're looking to level up to ambassador, just head over our website, please. If you can show the slides, you just 3 clicks away from greatness. You just have to hover over community, click ambassadors, and then click apply. Just 3 clicks away, or in the link that I'm about to share right here. So it's that simple, really. And while we welcome all talented community from all walks of life, we are especially in the lookout for Mandarin speaker members of the community to help out in sport and engineering. Developers with bonus points for those of you who have API experience. We are integrating engagement workflows into existing platforms to unlock very cool engagement features. And governance and DAO enthusiasts who want to help us shape the future. No small feat there. So if any of this sounds like you, what are you waiting for? Jump in. That's all for me, folks, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Radik. Yeah, if you feel like you've got the right stuff, please do apply to be an ambassador. I know that we're looking for JavaScript, TypeScript developers and Chinese speakers specifically. Okay, thanks, Radik. Okay, guys, we're early. Why are we so early? Okay, I must have rushed my bits. Okay, guys. Well, actually, yeah, I suppose what we could do then is, did I rush it? Do you have any questions, guys? I can see there are a couple in the chat. But I'm here to answer any questions you might have about anything that we've discussed today. Okay, I can see that there are some Chinese comments. Apologies, we don't have a way to translate them. But okay, so I'll give everyone a moment to gather their thoughts about Game of Domains, and please do post any questions in the chat. Before I answer any questions, I have had a correction from Randy. Randy, I'm going to bring you back up on stage. I'm just giving you your 1 second warning. Randy, you've corrected me that so Astral, the latest version of Astral, does show your complete stake. Does it? It represents the storage fee as well?
It does. So you no longer have to do math, and you no longer have to wonder, hey, I staked 1,000. Why does it only show 800? So I think it's a nice addition.
Okay, so maybe then you don't need to worry about that. I guess if you're looking on Polkadot.js rather than Astral, you may scratch your head about why it looks like your staked amount looks different.
Yeah, I imagine that's the case.
Okay. All right, thank you, Randy, and thanks for the correction. I do like having the right information. Okay, I'll let you go, Randy. Thank you. Okay, so a question from GG. How much funding will be allocated for the Ecosystem Grants Program? Great question, GG. Yeah, so to give you a more granular view, yeah, we are still kind of working out the finer points, around the legal paperwork that constitutes the program. There will be a big announcement, and there will be plenty of hoopla around that announcement, where we will give you an idea of the grants available. We're also going to work on a wish list, so things that we would like to see in the ecosystem. So you know, if you have an idea, then please do. You don't have to wait. You can kind of you can ping me. I am Jim at autonomous.xyz. If there's something in particular that you're working on that will demonstrate real value and drive the ecosystem, that is what those grants are for. So feel free to ping me a proposal. But I'm hoping that we're reaching the end of the journey with the lawyers on the paperwork for the grants program. So yeah, don't have an answer for your question, but we will answer that when the program is ready. So thank you very much for your question, GG. Okay, I can't pronounce that, I'm afraid, but thanks for your question. So not TSSC, only TAI3. Yes, absolutely. The Game of Domains runs on Taurus. TSSC is a coin native to the Gemini networks and the previous networks, actually. But yeah, to answer your question, that was an easy one. Only TAI3, correct. Thank you. Okay. Okay, GG again. Will nominators only need to stake to participate? If so, won't this affect airdrop hunters? Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are having lots of tokens is not how we intend on rewarding people. So, I mean, we want to reward those who are active and participate in helping us, test staking functionality, and not being sibbled, not attracting airdrop hunters is something that we are actively thinking about. Okay, thanks, GG. Okay, Ego P. Can you talk about any interesting or exciting use cases for the new private EVM domains? Okay, so I guess if you're following along with the commits that are going into the repository, what a private EVM domain is it's actually got a restriction on who can deploy contracts on it. So the idea is that if you want your own domain so we run the auto EVM domain. The team have deployed a domain with our EVM runtime. And at the moment, right now on Taurus, you can deploy Solidity contracts and you can execute them and take advantage of the operators who are already running on auto EVM. At last count, I think we were up to 40, so we're probably over 50 by now. So yeah, basically, if you want an environment that isn't necessarily processing transactions from everyone, then you could deploy your own private EVM where you control who can deploy contracts on that domain. Hopefully that makes sense. So for example, maybe you want to you want to have an environment that only you're able to control kind of the transactions that are going on. That would be a use case, for example. Thanks for the question, Ego. Okay, Inutik, one of our ambassadors. Cool names for stages. Thank you, Inutik. Naming things is always the hardest thing, of course, in engineering. Okay. Any more questions, guys? I can see we've got some excitement about the rewards, which is lovely to see. So right now the thing to do is, if you want to be an operator, sync your node, read through the forum post that's going to go out, familiarize yourself with the rules, and stay tuned, because we are hoping that stage 1 will be a relatively fast follow. I must point out that there is a dependency on us completing some engineering work to get that uptime monitoring working. Those who participate in stage 0 will help us make sure that we're ready to kick off stage 1. And of course, the whole point of this is that we are testing domains. We need to test certain facets of domains to make sure that they're robust and resilient and ready for the launch of mainnet phase 2. Which introduces domains execution. Is currently on testnet, but we're going to take that into mainnet. And then, of course, token transferability, which is obviously something that a lot of people in the community are talking about and very excited for. Okay, guys, any more questions? One last call. Okay. So in that case, then I think we can wrap today's session up. But before we do, I want to just take a moment to reflect on where we are and where we're heading. So we are in a critical phase as we gear up for mainnet phase 2, and everything else we've discussed today. In fact, from staking enhancements and XDM to the game of domains launch is shaping the future of our ecosystem. As always, I want to acknowledge the commitment, passion, and effort of every single one of you in this community. Autonomous isn't just a blockchain network, it's a movement built by pioneers, farmers, builders and visionaries just like you. Before we go, I want to put a few things on your radar. We've got a lot going on. So the first up, the Aurora Buildathon. This is, as I mentioned earlier, the largest developer initiative we've launched yet. If you're a builder, now is the time to get involved. Check out Hack Secret 5 and the ongoing workshops that Emil's been delivering. And then next point, East Denver. The team will be on the ground. There's, I think, 6 of us going. We're going to be hosting a hacker house. We're going to be meeting builders and engaging with the community. So if you're attending, please let's connect. Give me a shout, and we will try and get together. I see Emil's in the chat there. Excellent. And then, of course, Game of Domains. Stage 0 has officially kicked off. If you're an operator, nominator, or builder, there's a place for you. Stay tuned for more details in the forum post following this call. I can actually see the questions just come in. Will KYC be required for Game of Domains claiming? That is one of the things that we are seeking clarity on, EgoP. And yeah, if you have the right stuff for the Ambassador Program, you can find details on how to apply over on our forum, or jump into the Discord and start getting to know us all. We're quite an approachable bunch, really. Okay, so thank you once again for spending your time with us. Keep an eye on our socials for future announcements. We look forward to seeing you at our next event. Until then, keep farming, keep questioning, and as always, stay connected. Thanks, everyone.